Welcome to part 2 of Secrets of a Lego Store.
Did Lego ever ask you guys to take anything off the shelves and that you weren't allowed to sell anymore?
That we weren't allowed to sell anymore.
Like if a license expired or if there was a error, a box error.
I don't really recall
something?
that. I recall every once in a while we would get a set where the name of the set was misspelled. It was super rare. Like maybe twice in the 10 years I worked there. I remember that Arctic was spelled wrong on one of the City Arctic sets. They forgot a C in there because I think, how is Arctic spelled? With
a C, obviously.
I think they just spelled it. I think they I think they spelled it A-R-T-I-C. Arctic, and it's Arctic, right?
Wow.
And they had us pull that, right, because it was misspelled on the box. So if you have that, look at that box. If you happen to have one of the City Arctic sets that's misspelled and you bought it before we were told to pull it off the shelves, maybe it's worth a little bit, like $5 more.
So what would you do with it? Send it back to Lego?
Yeah, we sent it back. So we would unbox the set and we would recycle the plastic and the cardboard, and the bricks would go back to Enfield, which is where the North America headquarters is, right? Yeah. Enfield, Connecticut, and we would ship it back. For a while, they had us. I think it got to be too much. I'm actually pretty sure Kevin Hinkle, who I mentioned earlier, sort of ran that recycling, that like brick that would come back that was like play brick. And there's like a whole AFOL program, which I'm sure you've talked about with people on this podcast, right? The ambassador program. But some of that brick would be sent to the AFOL communities as part of their like recognition. And Kevin Hinkle was running it, but I can't remember exactly. I talked to Kevin Hinkle about it when he was an employee at the store, and it was something like 500 pallets of loose pieces from the stores in North America, and it got to be too much, I think, and it was actually being recycled going to a plastic recycling facility in Selma, Alabama, I think. I remember it being weird because when they turned it on, I was like, Selma, that's only like an hour and a half north of here. Like, it's so close. And it would be plastic recycled. So Lego
They were destroying the Lego bricks?
Yeah, I mean, they were recycling it.
Well, I heard a story about that one time where there were Walmart returns going to, and they were recycling them. And I used to be in that industry, so I saw the recycling machines chop up the plastic.
Yeah.
But they had to stop doing that because the Lego is such good quality plastic that it messes up their chopper.
Yeah, I never heard that, but I was about to say that plastic recycling didn't last very long until we started sending it back to Enfield. They stopped doing it. I actually heard, because we were really close to the recycling facility that did that, the plastic recycling facility, and was in Selma, and one of the employees from that facility came in the store and said, "Hey, I get shipments from you guys sometimes." I guess they were shopping for their son or whatever it was, and I was like, "Oh, that's neat." I always was kind of curious where it went, and they were recycling, he said, Legoland things too. Full displays, like huge displays that had been, faded from being in the sun at Legoland, that they would get chunks of these giant, like, dragons and animals and whatever it was.
I don't think I could work there. I just cried
I
seeing
would
that
too.
chop up.
It's so sad. It's so sad. But Lego is putting out so many bricks. Like, there are so many bricks in circulation. I don't even know what the number is.
That boggles my mind that they would even consider recycling clean, new Lego.
Yeah.
And not, like, repackage it as bulk or something.
Now they have a replay program, so you can go on Lego's website, print out a shipping label, and just send them your Lego. And they donate it. They donate it to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And so I'm assuming that's what they would do with any extra clean brick. It doesn't make sense that they would destroy it now.
Yeah.
It was
it's a relatively new
set. And I know Lego hurts to step on, so you don't want to chop it.
Now, in the same regards, we have a program where we will give you a prepaid shipping label, and we will pay you for your brick.
Please give them to us.
And it still gets to be enjoyed by everyone. It gets through here.
It's our buying and selling program on our website. and you can might as well sell it while I'm talking about it. So,
I've actually been tempted to buy. I think you have like little grab bags, sort of, that you can just buy bulk pounds to like see. It's like actually, I've been on the website and seen it, and it's actually a really good deal.
Yeah,
it is
for the amount of bricks you get.
We have the bags of plants too, stuff like that.
And I've seen on your videos the like bins that it comes out of too, and it's like, man, there's some like cool stuff. I've definitely been tempted, but I'm also like a part-aholic, so I just like parts is my jam.
Yeah, you're gonna get parts today.
Yes, I am.
It'll probably take you a few hours, but
I'd like to say that I come for the company of you two gentlemen, but I really came for the parts. Sorry to disappoint y'all.
All right, so I've been wondering this, and you've kind of alluded to it.
Sure.
So you used to get a discount when you worked for Lego, and you bought Lego sets all the time.
Yes.
How painful was it to pay full price for a Lego set?
Oh gosh!
After you stopped working
there?
Oh
no! It's so painful. I honestly don't think I have done it. I honestly, I'm trying to think. Oh no! I take that back.
Okay.
I have bought some because I bought some of the minifig packs, and I bought some of, surprisingly, the video packs because I liked the parts in it.
Okay.
Although I think Walmart had them for like 20% off or something, so I don't think I paid full price. But still, 20% to me is a 30% increase from what I'm.
You're not the only one that like. There's another weirdo that liked the video.
Yeah. I like the minifigs are cool and the little parts. I really love the little 2x2 tiles.
In fact, Noah is sending me Series 2.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Germany.
yeah, because they aren't releasing in North America.
They released, but they sold out immediately.
Yeah,
they sold out
because it's going to be rare or whatever. Yeah.
So he's sending me an entire unopened box.
Lucky.
I paid through the nose for it.
I have an old employee who lives in Germany now. Her husband is in the military, and she sent me pictures not too long ago, Andy, of opening up the Series 2 packs. I was like, oh, no, Andy, mail me some, please. I'll trade you. Like, Andy, if you're out there, you mail me some of those, please. I'll trade you. I have cool stuff.
What's the most amount of money you saw someone drop in a single purchase?
I recall a gentleman coming in the store and dropping $5,000 one time for Christmas. He would do it every Christmas. He would come in, but one year in particular, he spent $5,000, and it took 3 of us with all our hand trucks, like 2 trips to get it to his car. He literally went down the walls and was like, that one, and we filled up a hand truck and rung him up, and it was 5,000, around that number.
Wow.
Well, so we don't buy from the Lego store. There are resellers out there, and I know one of them who was banned from his local Lego store because they knew he was a reseller, and he was just buying them at retail price.
Yeah.
And holding on to them and reselling them later. And I guess the store manager didn't like that, so they banned him. Yeah. Did you guys ever have to ban anybody?
We never banned anybody, but we also never had anybody exploiting it. Although, again, I'm not an employee anymore, and it's a matter of opinion. I'm gonna probably hesitate to speak on it like too much, but we had nobody ever exploiting it, and something like that where they're buying full sets at full price and hoarding it, like that sounds like totally fair to me.
Well, that's what a lot of people do. People come to us all the time and they're like, do you guys buy Lego collections? And we're like, of course, yeah. And they're like, well, I have a Lego collection. You've never seen this many Lego sets before, sealed, And it's like, okay. And they show it to me. Couple thousand Lego sets, and it's like, well, believe it or not,
we have seen it.
There's a lot of people hoarding Lego sets out there.
Exactly. Lego has sort of gotten wise to it, I almost feel like, too, and they sort of like started to re-release stuff that they've seen has like gone like way up, sort of like the Taj Mahal is an example, the Millennium Falcon is an example. I'm certain there's more examples.
I believe they're going to re-release the Green Grocer.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Not Market Street, because it wasn't good enough, in my opinion. But then also the Cafe Corner.
Yeah, I can definitely see. And I mean, they re-release them, right? But they like update them with the parts that have been developed in that 10 years or 20 years or whatever since it was released. And I honestly think the re-releases are usually a nicer set because they have the more modern parts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there's like a little bit of change, but yeah, I think Lego has done that on purpose, obviously. I think. But there's also, I mean, it's a demand for it, and they are a business. So, but again, the reseller thing, we never had like a problem with it. I sort of worked there over 10 years, and I saw a lot of like policy develop in the 10 years I was there, because like when I first started working there, it was like the Wild West, right? Like there wasn't a lot of policy. Like the company was still like developing. I mean, it was still very well organized. The Lego is just like just hyper organized, and I mean it's just the environment that company is, right, and the type of product that they sell. It's just makes sense. But I saw like a lot of policy develop, and when I was there was a clear-cut policy. I'm not going to speak to it, but there was a very like specific policy for like how people could buy in bulk and like what they could buy in the quantities, and like if they exceeded that, we were to tell them that no, that's not policy, and you can come back tomorrow. Like,
well, I was wondering, that guy that comes in and would buy $5,000 worth of stuff, would you guys notice a dent on the shelves? I mean,
oh yeah, big time. We would.
You don't want anybody wiping your store out.
He would. The thing
Don't ever. If you're watching this, don't ever come here and spend that much money.
Yeah. Don't.
So I thought of another question. Going back to what you were talking about, how the employee uniform wore yellow aprons, and you said something like the North American employees. Does that mean the European employees don't?
So the North American employees and the European employees wear a different uniform. The North America, which I mean, I guess your guys' customers are global, so your people listening to this probably recognize both, but or a lot of people doing. But anybody in North America will know the apron, the yellow apron. And that is what North American employees wear, and the European employees wear a Lego branded black polo. So we wore a black polo under our apron, but we could have bought it at like Sears or something. It was just a standard black polo. The one that the European stores wear is like given to them, sort of like the apron is given to us, and has like the Lego logo embroidered on it. I think it has some like yellow trim either on the collar or the sleeves or something. I never have actually seen one in person, but you pulled these sets actually that Lego, or these little giveaway kits. These are the European Lego employee uniform. So if you ever went to the Lego store, I'm going to list this one too. This little guy was a giveaway when I was still working at the store. Shoot, that one might have been one of mine.
How many did you get? How many did you
we
get?
Were all given one. We were all given one. When
how many did a store get?
Oh, how many did a store get? Man, that's hard. I can't really remember. I think maybe we got a box of maybe 100 or something like that. We actually got quite a few of them when they came out. I can't remember exactly.
First of all, why the difference? Why do you Americans have to wear and Canadians have to wear aprons? Are we messy? Do we drool a lot more than the Europeans?
So, I honestly don't know. Okay. I always wondered the same thing myself. I think we'd have to ask somebody.
Two separate policies, right?
Yeah.
Two separate companies.
Yeah.
Like you have a American headquarters and a European headquarters.
The company, over the 10 years I worked there, there's the North America headquarters, which is in Enfield, Connecticut, which we mentioned, and then totally separate company, or like I think they recognize it like a separate company within Lego is the European retail, or I don't even remember what they call it, to be honest. They were very separate entities when I first started working there, but slowly as like the years went on, and like later and sort of the last couple years I was working there, they really became more like one entity. I actually always, and I remember talking to like my manager and other employees and stuff, that we almost thought that we might transition at some point to the polo, because it was becoming less of like a like these are two separate things. It was like this is one global thing, and like now the world headquarters in Denmark is a lot more involved in the retail business. And again, I don't really know that stuff like a ton about it. I was an assistant store manager or whatever, but
so you were there when they got their 100th store.
Yeah.
Where was their 100th store?
Man, that's a good question. I can't remember.
but then the Birmingham store closed. So did that bring it down to 99? Or
no. Yeah. The Lego stores were opening like crazy around that time. I think that 100 store was like quickly eclipsed by like the 101st, and second and third and fourth one, like a couple months later or something. I sort of recall actually that they weren't even 100% sure which store was going to be the 100th store, because there were two stores opening like in such like quick succession to each other that there was like, for a second there, they weren't exactly sure which one it was going to be. And I mean, this speaks to my bad memory. I can't even remember which store was the 100th store, but I bet it was a big party there when it did open.
What's interesting is, so this is the 100 Lego stores North America, and he's got a European uniform on.
So where do they exist? Like we mentioned the zombie store employee and some of those, but do they exist? The American and Canadian version?
The North American minifigure does exist, an official version of it, but it was never like a product you could buy at the Lego store on Lego Online, or like this one where it was a store giveaway, where it was like something you could get. So it's a lot more rare. You can find them on like people selling them online from various places, and at a certain point, someone will bring one through here too. I'm certain y'all will see one, but
they were giveaways.
They were giveaways. So Lego, and I don't think Lego does it anymore, but they did this convention that was like over a weekend, and they would draw from the stores to work at this temporary retail store that would be like at the convention. So we would basically, over the weekend, I worked at two of them, one in Kentucky and one in Virginia. And part of it at the end, if you were one of the retail employees that volunteered or they asked for you to come and work at that event for the weekend, you got one of the North America, sort of like this pack right here, except for it was Kids Fest branded, and it had the actual aproned employee in it as the official fig. So you could get it that way, was one way you could get it. It was really hard to get it, right? Because you had to be an employee, you had to work at that event over the weekend, which you had to sort of like raise your hand or volunteer. I can't remember exactly how they picked us. I think it was just like mentioned, would you have any interest in flying to Virginia and working for the weekend? But that's like a whole separate story. But another way, I think they had more of them because Kids Fest didn't last all that long. I think they maybe did it for a year. I can't exactly remember how long they did it, but they stopped doing it. The like Lego Run convention, and I think they must have had some of them left over, and they sort of sent them to Lego stores in like baggies. I remember getting them. I think maybe we even requested them. They were like, hey, we have these, like, would y'all like them to give to employees at the stores or to give out to customers or something? And it was sort of like, you could do what you wanted with them.
Wow.
So I think we got like a bag of 20 maybe, because I was like, yeah. It's like, I raised my hand for anything. If they said, hey, we'll send you some cool stuff to give away, I was like, yes, we want it. and so I think we gave each of our employees one. And if like a long time customer came in or something like that, I think we gave a couple to like kids. Like I actually recall we talked about Noah already. Yeah. How I know Noah was, he lives in Germany now, but he lived in Birmingham at the time. He and his family were really good Lego store customers, and I'm certain I gave he and his brother one of those official figs on one of their visits. So we would give them to like kids who came in.
So Kids Fest had that 3-pack too of minifigures.
Oh yeah,
they were unique to Kids Fest. They had like a big smiley face, and we probably have some somewhere in the store because we've had a lot of them come in. And like you said, even with the store employee, they had a lot of leftovers. Yeah. And they donated them to Brick Fair, Virginia one year, not too long ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yep. And so, you know, they're not to be resold for a profit. When Lego gives you something to donate stuff, you don't sell it for a profit, and they probably have really strict rules on it.
I know they have insanely strict rules.
Yeah, what Brick Fair was doing is they were selling them for their charity, the Slade Children's Foundation. And so they were selling the 3-packs of the Kids Fest minifigures for like $20 a pack, which is a great deal because I think they go for $40 to $60.
They came in the like BAM clam pack that you get. Yeah. Have you ever seen the Lego store grand opening packs like those? Yeah. So the stores will get the printed pack that's something around their store. I think I have one because when I first started working there, my store manager actually moved to manage the North Point Atlanta store. And when that store opened, I got one of the clam packs. I think I still have it in my case, you know, because it's kind of neat. I think they're just kind of generic like BAM figures, but they have the store name and year I think printed on the back of them. And are pretty neat.
That's what we were comparing these two figures. It's the exact same figure, but this one has Lego's 100 Lego Stores North America printed on the back.
I also think like the reward to get him, like the spend or whatever, was actually kind of high. He was kind of hard to get, if I recall, in the store. I don't remember what you had to purchase to get him, but he was like a gift with purchase at the time, so he's a little bit more rare. The pack is really fancy too, with the like gold sort of foiled paper.
Oh, I know a question I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
So any Lego store is constantly going through models of recent sets, right? So who puts those sets together in your stores?
We build them. That's one of the neat benefits. Okay. Another one we can mention is with the Lego store, employees built the sets that went on display, which was really cool. So like a new set would come in, and we would put it together like on the spot. And I can't remember exactly what the policy. There maybe was policy around it, like to make it fair, but we would sort of like put our names, dibs on stuff that we might hear was coming, and get to build it at the counter.
As the assistant store manager, you kind of had
I got I would use my assistant store manager muscle to get to build all the cool stuff. No, I have passed a lot of stuff along to the
Did you guys ever glue anything, or was it all?
No, we didn't glue anything. None of the displays, unless it was like a special display, got glued. Though a couple things would get glued if it was particularly hard to display in our windows. The model shop would assemble them. Like, we were heartbroken, but we didn't actually build. When the Millennium Falcon re-released or was redesigned, the new set, we didn't get to build it because it had to go in the glass case like sideways on this like plexiglass was how it was displayed, sort of, and it needed to be glued so that it could sit on this like frame for like a long period of time, and it also got like moved to the back and then back out from time to time. So there are instances where some of the displays are glued, but in general they're just sets that we marked out and put into displays.
What happens to those built sets once they're retired, or you need to move them to make room for a new release?
There was a policy where employees got to take some of those sets home, so it was kind of a neat benefit. I don't know what the policy is now, and so I can only speak to like what my time was, but it was all distributed like very fairly. So if you got to take a set home, every other employee who built, or every other employee after you got to take something home of like a similar value before you got to again. So it wasn't necessarily like if you built something you got to take it home. It was fairly distributed. I don't know if that's policy anymore, but it was kind of a neat thing that the employees got. Another cool benefit that we sort of got free sets, right? So we got to build this displays, and when they came off, they got to sort of be divvied up. And again, like that was the policy when I was there. That policy could have changed.
So you were working there when Series 10 came out, right?
Yes, with Mr. Gold. Yeah, Mr. Gold.
Did you guys ever sell any Mr. Gold?
Nope, we never saw Mr. Gold come through the store, and we were really good at the minifig sorting, and had a lot of customers who were really good at it.
So, is basically every employee good at filling up the packs?
Not all of them are. We got really good at it, and it was sort of, I think it was like bragging rights at our store in particular, like who could do it the fastest and like who was the best at it. But so I think that was just like sort of the fun competitive nature of it. But that varies from store to store, and I think like strictly speaking, I don't think we were like really allowed to do it for customers.
I thought so. I've heard that. I've had other employees at other stores tell me that they do fill up, figures for people, and that it's okay, it's a store policy.
I think I would say to people, like, don't go in a store expecting someone to do it. Okay. Like, if they happen to be an employee there that, like, knows how to do it and they have the time to do it, they might, but...
one of the problems is that it messes up the pack.
Yeah, it does kind of crinkle it, right? Yeah. We always had, like, such high quantity, I don't think it ever really mattered, like, if somebody wanted a pristine pack, right? And I think generally the customers we dealt with, they weren't really concerned about the pack.
Yeah,
like, they were going to just open it and have their cool space guy or whatever it was and not too worried about it. And we would only sort if somebody, like, requested it, right? And they were after something, so we weren't crinkling, like, everything we had out, right?
So you started working there when Series 1 came out.
Yeah.
Basically, right? So you've always been a fan of the CMFs, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Me too. I like them a lot. They started out at $1.99 with Series 1.
I remember.
And Series 1 are the most valuable. Now, I didn't get into it till about Series 3. And and then even in Series 3, you couldn't go back and get Series 1. They were gone.
Series 1 was impossible to get.
I don't think Lego tells us the production quantities of anything.
Yep.
So we don't know how many Series 1 that were made.
Yep.
We don't know Series 2. But it seemed to me that Series 5 they made the most of.
Yeah. It was, so Series 1, they were like testing the water, right? Because they hadn't ever done something like that. And it was like a totally new thing. And I mean, I guess it was like something that was happening in the like retail environment, right? These mystery packs. I don't know who had done it before. I mean, baseball cards have been around for like forever, right? But now the toys were realizing like, hey, we could put stuff in packs and it'd be a little mystery. But when Series 1 came out, they could have sent us, an endless supply and we would have sold every single one. People were going crazy for it was like... it was just like, okay, this is going to work, and this is going to be a thing that's going to last, like, forever. I don't even know how many shipments of Series 1 we got. I mean, we maybe only saw the box, because I don't think the boxes still hasn't changed, really, all that lot that they come in. But I don't even know. Maybe we got, like, 20 of those cases for Series 1, for, like, our whole store for a series. And now, I don't know what series was out when I left, but I saw 10 years worth of sets, and after Series 1 we would get tons. It wasn't like 20 boxes and that's all you got like Series 1. It was like 20 boxes of them a shipment.
So Series 1 is like definitely expensive. And has a good reason to be, because they really are
more scarce.
I would certainly say from my experience that it's the most scarce, because Lego just had no idea what quantity was going to be needed. I mean, in fairness to them, how were they supposed to know? Like, they had never done sort of a product like that.
And you said you're still buying those mystery packs.
Yeah, how do you mean?
Video. You said yours.
Oh yeah, I love the little mystery packs. Yeah,
they're just so affordable too.
Yeah,
so you can buy one without breaking your.
It's like it said. I haven't really bought sets because it hurts so hard because I don't get 50% off anymore. No, that's not really why. But I just buy parts more because I'm more of like a mock builder at this point. But and I just don't have much interest in sets. But those are great because they're just on the shelf, and if I'm at Walgreens or Walmart or something, I Target on an end cap. It's like, oh, I'll grab one, like, or two. And I actually, I used to really be like, I'm feeling everyone. I'm not buying. If I don't know what it is and I don't want it in my collection, I'm not going to buy it. I think recently I'm like, I'll just take one and see what I get. It is kind of neat. Like, I actually kind of like the mystery of it. It's kind of fun because you just don't know what you're going to get. And it's just going to go to my parts collection anyway.
We have 2 boxes of the Marvel mystery figures down there.
Yeah.
And we are doing
We're going to do a video on it.
Oh, nice. Here's a sort of a hint. And you guys might know it too, but have y'all noticed that they put the same things, like how they pack them, right? It's like they'll all be in a row. Like, so if you were going to just grab at random, don't grab like a stack of 5 out of one spot. Grab 5 from 5 different like corners. It's sort of like the Battleship Strategy, right? Don't put them all in one space. Spread it out when you pluck them out of a new box.
Have they
always done that since Series 1?
It's in Series 1. Every series that I ever opened and looked at, that's exactly how they were packaged every single time.
The guy in the front left is always going to be this guy.
It's going to be I don't think that the boxes. There's not like a map that you could paint out on the bottom. Like you couldn't fill one box and then label everything, and then the next box you open is exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
If you grab a person out, and like the Marvel one, who's one that comes in the Marvel? I haven't even seen
Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. Yeah. If you grab a Captain America, likely that one of those touching him is also Captain America.
Oh,
like the Captain Americas are all together, and isn't it the WandaVision, one of them? Yeah. All of those are all together in the box. Like they're not randomly assorted. The factory is probably like a whole rack of the 16 bins, and they take 3 and they put it in. They take 3 and they put it in.
I remember very specifically Graves was the chase figure from the first Harry Potter series. It was the 3rd one from the back left.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
So every time,
there were instances, sort of like what you said, where they were exactly the same every single box.
Yeah, the machine just picked them up and put them the same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there were instances, but that's not consistent, is what I found.
Okay.
That it's not always guaranteed that 3rd one from the back is going to be the person. Yeah, because there was a policeman in series 15
or 18.
Policeman.
Yeah, he was like almost always in that sort of like back corner, like 4 or 5 up. Yeah, he was one where it was like he was always in the exact same spot.
Working at the time at an official Lego store with Mr. Gold.
Yep.
Was that nuts? Like, did you have any crazy stories about customers? Just
everybody was nice about it, but I mean, and like I said, we were friendly, and like I said to people out there, like I would never go into a store expecting anybody to sort, because I don't think it's like officially something that like we do, but we would help people if we had time, and we enjoyed doing it because it was like a little challenge, right? But at that time, man, everybody in the store wanted you to sort like every bag you had in the store, and we'd tell people like, we've sorted every single one. There's not one here. Like it's like we did not in the back. Like we had been out. Not in the back. When they came in, like everybody was after them. So the first thing when people would come in, there'd be a line of people with the thing sorting the whole thing. So it was like. We could just tell people, like, that Mr. Gold is not in there.
I can imagine.
These have been through and through and through.
If you were like, nope, it's not it.
No, that one's not it.
That's definitely not.
We would have been fair to the
I've
customer.
I've seen 3 or 4 Mr. Golds, and it was
I've never seen one. Do you have one here?
No.
Oh, dang.
It's always somebody showing you, hey, here, you want to see Mr. Gold? Mm-hmm. And I was at a convention, and the guy's like, hey, you want to see Mr. Gold? I was like, okay, whatever. And he pulls one out of his pocket. Yeah, right here. I got it in a pack. Mm-hmm. And every time, it's one of them was in Dallas.
Yeah.
And they went at a convention, Brick Fiesta, which is now Brick Rodeo. And they got theirs because they went to the Lego store in Dallas, and they were like, hey, can you fill these to the employee and try to find me Mr. Gold? Here he is, right here. I can feel his top hat. And the in-store employee gave it to the kid.
Dang.
The kid bought it for
that would be so hard for me if I was an employee. I was like, no, this isn't it. I don't know where it is.
It would hurt so bad, but I mean, we were employees. We would have had to have done it. Like, there's just no way an employee could have bought one.
But no crazy stories. No one's fighting in the
audience.
No.
How about people
everybody's always so
boxes?
happy at this store.
Would you limit the number of packs people buy?
I think there was at a certain point like a policy around like how many you build. Like I think on the website you're only allowed to buy 32 at a time or something like that, 16 or 32. So there was like a limit to how many you could buy. But I think it was a lot of it was like sort of manager discretion. I don't know the exact policy. And there were cases where we had like tons of quantity, and the series was sort of on their last leg where we would sell. That's why I say like I'm pretty sure it's sort of manager discretion at a certain point, like how many you could buy, and people would buy like full cases. Not in Series 10 though. We would absolutely have not sold whole cases to people in Series 10 because it just wasn't fair, right? For that. like golden tickets sort of thing. It just wouldn't have been right, and we would have never had a chance because there would have never been enough quantity in the store where it would have been allowable.
I was buying them at Five Below.
Oh yeah,
I would buy entire boxes.
Nice.
At Five Below,
of Series 10.
Yeah.
Oh dang, nice.
So, being a Lego store employee and getting the insider scoop on how the company thinks and works, do you think, in your opinion, your personal opinion, do you think they will ever do that type of scarcity in a blind bag, like a Mrs. Gold or Mr. Silver? Or do you think they'll ever do that again?
Mr. Silver.
Mr. Silver. I mean, they did
Mr. Platinum.
We mentioned it, right? They've done sort of the exclusive figs a couple times because they did the Highwayman in series whatever. That was kind of weird because it was like a really so cool. Weird. The fig is cool, but he wasn't anything like special, and I think right? He could have just been a normal. Yeah, and he was. Yeah. It was like one a box or something. It was I think it was two a box or something like that. But it was like he wasn't printed on the box, right? So it added this like mystery, but I actually think he wasn't any more scarce than any of the other ones.
He was not.
It was just like a thing they tried where he was like blacked out. I was like,
you don't know one of them.
Mysterious person, and it was
unless
like
you looked on the internet the day after it came out.
Yeah, exactly. And then they did the policeman, which we mentioned, but he was one a box, so he wasn't as rare. But I could definitely see a Mrs. Gold.
I think they would do one like there's only like 300,000 in the world.
Yeah,
you think they would do that again?
300,000. What? How many of Mr. Gold was there? 5,000, right? Yeah. I mean, we've seen Lego do tons of stuff like that for like forever. Even when I was a kid, there was the R2-D2 or something, or C-3PO that was like one of three or something, where it was like you just happened to get him right in the mail. And so Lego has done that exclusive, like low quantity thing for like a long time. And Lego loves to like bring things back up that like they've given it plenty of time for like people to sort of forget about. So I would not be surprised, and I'd probably put like a little money on it that Lego eventually will do like a Mrs. Gold. I think that would definitely be probably the go-to, right? Because they did a Mr. Gold. I don't know, maybe just be gold something. Who knows?
Because I had heard some rumors that for Series 50 they might do like a Mrs. Gold.
Man, how far are we away from Series 50? How many is rolling out?
Or maybe like 25. Is 25 closer?
It's got to be really closer.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if we passed 25 yet. What are we at now?
Not yet, yeah.
Series 20
Series 22
something.
just got
22.
revealed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
officially yesterday.
Maybe 25.
Yeah, it was like just yesterday.
25 in another 3 years or whatever.
There's some cool guys in Series 22.
Okay.
Neat. I like this.
I'm excited.
I honestly personally prefer, maybe it's because I've been there since the beginning, the generic series that are just the like Lego envisioned ones that are really interesting stuff.
Non-licensed.
Would you say there's any interesting stories that you have that really just stick out in your mind about Lego or your experience working at the Lego store?
Man, it's like it's so hard to answer because I'm like rolling through 10 years of history, and like the positive stuff is all sort of like general. It's just like you get to meet so many cool people.
Because at Brick Fair, we used to be able to go as a group and like meet at a certain time at the Birmingham store and get a discount. And it was for the people at Brick Fair only.
They called it the running of the bulls or something. It was like the AFOL term for
that's
it.
Awesome.
Right?
People would come back to the convention with just bags and bags because it was like 15% off. But that's still a lot.
It's not a thing that Lego does anymore. It was like that was like years ago, and it was sort of like I said, the policy sort of got like more and more like as it went on, and that was sort of like the Wild West days of Lego retail, right? The stores in the surrounding area, or maybe globally, because there weren't that many stores. I mean, you think of 100 stores, like that's really not that many when you think about a huge company like Lego. But they would just they would send damaged product or stuff they had like too much of to whatever store that like convention was in. And I think AFOL is referred to it as like the running of the bulls. They would discount stuff because there was like a huge AFOL community right there, and it was an opportunity for Lego to like clear that stuff out, right? And offer
I didn't know
discount.
that it was damaged stuff.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you actually go to the store and look around.
I can't wait. Yeah, you're keeping me hostage in here. here interviewing me.
It is
Man,
hot.
you're making me do my least favorite thing, talking about Lego. Golly.
You should see all the stuff people are walking out with.
Yeah, I keep seeing the best stuff. I'm like, oh, I wanted that.
That's why the window's there to torture people.
The guys have been purposefully walking by with things they think I'd like to like tempt me as we like pirate ships and castles. They're like, that's my jam.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the store, but it's been super fun talking. I could talk Lego all day, so thanks for the opportunity,
you're welcome.
guys.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. What do you think it's like working at a Lego store? Did he paint the picture that was in your mind? Let us know. We will see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Bye.